And right now is about 2 minutes after 7 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
And welcome into the finally Friday.
Yes.
Thank goodness it's
Yes.
Friday edition.
Yes.
But, we're going to come back again tomorrow, aren't we?
No, we've already determined that yesterday actually was
Mhm.
Thursday. Today is Friday. Tomorrow's Saturday.
Well, if yesterday was Friday,
No, we're
then
not
today
going to
would
do
be
this.
Saturday.
We're
right?
not going to do this. Look, I go
Okay,
home.
guys.
I get confused going home anymore after this show.
We're fine. We're good to go. And I put out earlier that if y'all want to chat this morning, I don't think we have any guests scheduled.
No.
Phones are open.
Yes.
910-333-0139. Something we say today, something I said yesterday, something we thought about saying. If you're reading our minds, then there's that possibility. I do want to make a couple of comments about all the folks. Lee posted, I think, was it you or Kelly?
It was Lee.
Lee posted this thing that when was the worst place or the the time that you heard whoops?
Yeah. What's the worst place?
What's the worst place to be when you hear the word oops?
Well,
Yeah.
after I looked at all of them,
There were some
early
really
this morning,
good
really
ones.
good ones in
Yeah.
there. But,
Yeah.
they had, generally speaking, most of them had something to do with medical procedures.
Yeah.
I'm sure a few of them in there put in heart surgery for somebody I know, or Dennis. Dennis was a major player in that area because I've had it done.
That was the very first thing you said was
I
dentist.
had a dentist one time drilling away, and oops! I said, "Don't do that.
Yeah.
Just don't do
That-
that."
yeah.
Okay,
Like
little,
going
that's
home.
just no.
Mm-hmm.
But there were some interesting ones in there, some innovative ones. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed reading them. It doesn't take a whole lot to entertain me, and some things like that. But after reading all of them, I had to get mine in.
Yours is a good one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All these comments are good.
They
All right,
were.
everybody. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that,
No.
but I kind of waited, being in a military town, and a bunch of the recon guys out there, and all that sort of good stuff.
Mhm.
My thought was maybe the worst time when you hear oops is when you pull the ripcord on your reserve chute because your main chute failed.
I'm telling you, that's a good one, Rayford.
Ouch.
That is a good one.
Rick down there said, well, I doubt very seriously that oops is going to be the first word from my mouth if that happens. And he's probably right.
Yes.
Oh, dad burn it would be it, I'm sure.
Yes, I like his. And it's still a lot of people posting on the tree that fell on the cat's face.
God.
So
That
was
that
really
tree
good.
thing, it was great. Let's see, what the total number of hit? Well, I can't even get down to it now. Whatever.
I'll tell you.
Anyway,
That's a
it'll
lot.
show up sooner or later. It'll catch up. Your internet connection was restored. I guess that meant it was lost for a minute.
I'm having problems trying to post our link on Facebook right now, but it'll be up there in just a minute.
Well, at least we're on the air.
Well, I'm
Our
on here.
internet-
My internet connection's good.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
it
good.
just keeps.
Anyway,
Facebook.
with the one with the Christmas tree laying on its side, Christmas balls
yeah, I like
scattered
that
on the
one.
floor in
Yeah.
little slivers here
And a
and there,
cat.
everywhere. And then in the foreground is a cat looking straight at the camera, like, huh?
Yeah, like I didn't do
Me?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on there.
Nah,
Yeah.
Must have been the dog. 2,994 hits on that one.
Mm.
People like humor.
Yeah, so we've been trying to keep the page going
Yeah,
and
we-
adding a lot of stuff. And I love the comments.
Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
Kelly and I got blamed several times for the tree down. I was like, okay.
It doesn't look like my cat at all. Could have been my
Yes.
cat, but doesn't look like
Could have
my
been
cat at all.
anybody's cat.
And like I've said before, we used to have a big rotating Christmas tree. Go round and round and round she goes, slowly. And then one night when we had this little kitten, all solid, I mean, we're talking about midnight, black.
I'm about to throw up. It's so
And
hot.
then the tree comes around, and there is a kitten on one of the limbs, just looking out there, peering, and then he just goes around. I said, was that really what we just saw? We had to wait for it to come back around again.
I've heard so many stories about cats being in the trees.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's kind of wild.
You have to love a cat.
Well, they're independent. Let's just put it that way.
They're sneaky.
Kind of like the same thing.
Yes.
That's, I think some of us who are independents we're kind of sneaky. So it's all right.
Yeah.
What is going on in your world? We'd love to hear from you. If there's anything you'd like to chat about today that we haven't covered this week or something we have covered, 910-333-0139.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
Very
I'm off to
good.
100%
You
now.
did good so far.
910-333-0139. Some stuff that's going to have, I guess, a lot of our military guys are going to be kind of happy. The bill, the National Defense Authorization Act, as long as Biden signs it, the Senate signed off on it last night. The House
Correct.
signed off on it earlier. We
Yeah.
heard from Dr. Murphy earlier this week. Authorizes funding for our military services. Now, what it means to you individually, you get a pay raise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Y'all going to get a fairly decent pay raise. Well-deserved pay raise, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
good. That part's good. It also repeals the required COVID-19 vaccine for members of our military. It does not automatically reinstate members of the military
I was going to ask.
who were discharged
Okay.
or had their benefits cut for refusing to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
That's word from the military side. I haven't seen it from the political side, so I don't know for sure. Service members who were kicked out of the armed forces for refusing the COVID vaccines could be allowed back in uniform once the vaccination mandate is lifted, which is getting ready to occur. That's according to a military source. Requests to rejoin would most likely be handled case by case, but if the service members left under good circumstances, meaning they did not leave via other than honorable discharges, they might be allowed to sign back up. If you said to the guy that wanted your commanding officer, told you to go get the shot, and you punched him in the nose, the chances are you ain't going to be reinstated. Okay. So give up on that part. But if they kicked you out because you didn't get the vaccination, then according to the military sources, there's a good chance you'll get back in.
Hold
Now,
up.
how will you get back in? Will you go resume the same rank? Nope, probably not. Don't know if you got to start at the bottom, or I don't know. I just don't know yet. Hold on a minute. What?
Okay. So if they were kicked out because they didn't get the vaccine,
Yep.
would they automatically have been kicked out with a good conduct discharge?
They'll be kicked out with a general discharge.
With just a general.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I was wondering. And then my second question is, why would you not just reinstate them at the rank they were when they left? Because they didn't leave for anything other than I don't want to get a vaccine.
Don't know. I don't know that for a fact. We're
Yeah.
waiting for the military to
Right.
come down with their rules and regulations. That ought to take 10 years.
Yeah.
And then you got to wonder how many would actually want to go back in after what happened to them. I don't know. I had a client that happened to.
Search as I could
Mhm.
last night, I could not find a definitive answer to just exactly how many service members actually got the boot for refusing what amounted to, at the time, a lawful order.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
I know of one because he was my client.
That
and he
was a
an
lawful
amazing
order that they
military
gave
person.
these individuals.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, please. I've got mine.
Mhm.
I'm not going to really share it right now, but I want to know what you think, especially active duty and prior military guys out there. 910-333-0139. If you're given a lawful order, it was a lawful order at the time,
Mhm.
and
That's what I was gonna say.
you were removed
Right.
based upon just that. You obviously had to accept it because they kicked you out.
Mhm.
They folded your bunk up and your rack up, and you were racked out and gone. No problem. So what do you think? Should they be allowed automatically back in? And if so, should they be given the same rank that they had when they left? How about back pay?
I don't know about the
How
back
about
pay.
privileges? How about anything else that they may have missed? Can they go back and, pick up where they left off?
Right.
What do you guys think? You're military, former military. How should this work if they're going to do this? Obviously, they're going to make it available for them to be reinstated.
Right.
I don't know what the requirements will be. I don't know how stringent they will be.
I think I'd have to know all the facts, before I could really put out a good opinion. But
Here's my
Number
question for
one,
you. Here's my question
military,
for you.
it was mandatory and they refused.
Here's my question for you.
Okay.
way back in forever, military members have been required to get
That's right.
vaccinations.
Exactly. Well,
Even in boot camp, you walk through the line and they
Mhm.
zip
I was
these
Well,
gonna
things
go
up.
there
some
with
of those
that.
vaccinations were discontinued like in 2011
Uh-huh.
because they found they were harmful.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And I think, well, I have a client that was booted out for this very reason, and he was a Navy corpsman, and he was against the vaccine for quite a few reasons, and I'm not going to go into them, but part of it was ingredients in them, et cetera. But he was bringing up to them, remember, we used to get this, what was it, the anthrax shot, and they discontinued that.
Uh-huh.
So he was citing that as one of his
Well,
reasons.
some of the anthrax, I mean, some of the scare went away too,
Yeah,
right?
same as with COVID.
Yep, same as with COVID.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but
that's what I was going to say. COVID started and everything was just like crazy because it
Mhm.
was do this or don't do this, or
Well,
I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it.
COVID
And
was so widespread.
it
Mhm.
was. And it was so many shutdowns and so
Mhm.
many
And
people didn't know enough about it. We
and
still
in,
don't.
and in a lot of countries, I mean, the COVID, as bad as it was, and as it spread in this country, there are a lot of countries where we send our military
Yeah.
Right.
that it
True.
was even worse.
That's
That's
a true
right.
statement too. I agree.
So personally, I'm like, I just wouldn't want to go there anyway unless I got my shot. I didn't want to walk outside my house without my
Mhm.
shot.
Right.
So,
There's just so many elements to the
yeah.
story. There's so many pros and cons. And
So
where do you draw the line?
how about you guys? Military, former military. It's done. It's done what was done.
Yeah.
Okay, they got the boot.
Hmm.
Now the point is, should they be reinstated at the rank that they had before? There is going to be some sort of a process. That's up in the air about reinstatement. And obviously, if you, like I say, if you punched out the guy who gave you the order that you're going to leave,
Well, that's a whole different thing.
you punch that guy out. That's less than honorable conditions,
Right.
and you're not going to get back in without a whole lot of effort right now. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Good morning, my friends. How are you?
We're
Good
hanging in
morning.
Good.
here. What's up?
Well, before I answer your question on what my thoughts on that are, well, I can give you those real quick. I'm kind of like Lee. I need to know all the facts
Yep.
on this individual before making a decision. If I'm their CEO or whoever's going to make the decision whether or not they should be allowed back in with the same rank, same pay, etc. I mean, when you're given an order, and even in civilian life, when you're given an order, you do it or you're terminated, and more likely you're not going to be able to join that company again.
Pretty much.
Hmm.
But the military, I see, it's very different. Dad served, Kathy served, Lee's dad, God rest his soul, he served. And many people, we're in the military community, but it all depends what they did. I mean, some of the things that we've seen the last 10 years of officers and non-officers, non-commissioned officers, if what they've done, you go, oh my goodness, how can this happen? And what some people may think is a slap on the wrist, they get a slap on their wrist and they're okay and just keep going on with what they're doing or what they did. That's a tough one, Rafer. I got to give it to you. That's a tough one. And I didn't have the honor. I didn't have the honor to serve, unfortunately.
Okay, now here's I'm going to do the other part of the question here. I'm glad we had somebody to call in to open this door. So let's say, okay, I'm going to put them back in. Would you be comfortable with putting a guy back in and serving alongside of him, a guy who decided, I'm not going to follow that lawful order? What other lawful order under combat conditions or otherwise would he decide I'm not going to follow? How comfortable would you
Wow.
be serving with that person?
I would be.
Ouch.
I'd be comfortable.
Would you?
Hmm. Because this is a whole separate scenario. This involved being injected with something that people don't know much about. I mean, it's different if it's like carrying a weapon or dealing with a prisoner, but it's not. It's putting
Uh-huh.
something in your own body. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Uh-huh. Chris?
Well, I have some family members that haven't taken, and that's fine. I don't tell people what to do. They haven't taken the COVID shot because they don't know what's in it.
Yeah,
Um,
me too.
when we were children, we all had to get measles shots. We all
There
had
you
to
go.
get
What'd you know?
vaccinated.
What you have any idea what was in those vaccinations?
I have no idea.
If you,
No idea.
but if you
know
didn't
what?
take one, you didn't go to school, right?
Right, and we as children back then, we didn't have choice. Now as adults, we have a choice. You want to get the shot, just like the flu. Maybe not the same as the flu shot. We don't know what's in it. We're told, okay, well, if you take this, you're going to be somewhat protected. You won't get the side effects so bad. But we don't know what's in it. I mean, we are non-physicians, non-scientists for the most part. Although I did stay at Holiday Inn Express, so maybe I can say something about it. I'm sorry, I had to throw a joke in there.
There you go.
That was
But-
pretty good.
I also, I think Ray for you, I don't want to go, or Kelly might have said, I don't want to go to a country without being vaccinated because I don't know what is over there. I don't want to. I like living personally,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. Do I know what's in the COVID shots? I sure don't. You know what? Get ready to go get my next booster for it. 'Cause
Listen,
if it helps reduce the amount of suffering I'm going to do,
Chris, I have no idea what's in that imitation crab meat that you can buy at the supermarket.
That's
Give me
true.
a break. Think about it. It says imitation crab meat, then it lists a bunch of stuff. I don't know what's in there. Do you?
no. And that's my point to some of my family members is, well, you don't know what's in these other shots, but you've had people that, and I understand too, that some that have died from COVID have other issues. And I fully understand that. But when you're young and you're healthy and you get it, and you're in ICU and you're in the tent, you're on oxygen, and then a news organization comes in and goes, well, do you think you'd take it now? No. Okay. Well, but I think, just serving next to that person in the military, we're supposed to be comrade in arms. And maybe you didn't want the COVID shot. I got mine. But if we have to defend and fight, I'm counting on you to have my back.
Uh-huh. I just a
good
question
point.
for
Well, I
y'all
don't
to
know.
think
I just
about.
don't think
Yeah.
just because someone doesn't want a COVID shot, don't mean they're not going to have their partner's back.
How do you know
Yeah.
once they
My-
refuse a lawful order, if they're given another lawful order, that they suddenly decide, I don't agree with that?
Mhm.
Forget of fighting, regardless of whether it is. Regardless of what
Well-
that order is, I want you to wash those pots with this stuff here to make absolutely sure they're clean. I don't think I need to do that.
Well, I think something's trivial, but I think when you're talking about putting something in your body, that's a whole different issue.
If you
I just see it
refuse
that
a
way.
lawful
Yeah.
order in the military, I have concerns with that.
Well, that's just like you can go all the way back to the Stu Schuler thing.
Yes.
He refused to obey a direct order,
And look
Mhm.
what that got him.
Yeah.
and he'll probably make millions off of it when he writes his book.
evidently. He's still doing stuff.
No
I
doubt.
see his stuff on Facebook.
doubt.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it, we have some moral issues that we all have to make decisions
We
on.
do.
And then you have your, I tell you, well, it's probably not saying anybody. When I was with local cable company, they did head count or head cuts, and then brought me back. And I just said, well, simple. As long as you understand how I live my life now, God, family, and then work. It's different in the military because you take an oath the minute you sign that paper. I guess I haven't done it yet. So I can't. You take an oath to defend this country. I'm not sure. Does it say anything about you take an oath to take shots or? I don't know if I'm making any sense, but
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of following you, Chris. But I that would be the one thing that would bother me is having the guy
Yeah.
there who has already made a decision at one point in time that I don't have to obey that lawful order. Okay. Am I going to be
Yeah.
all alone out there?
Well, it's no different. Your argument, Rayford's no different than when the whole "don't ask, don't tell" thing came up, and people were all up in arms because they were all squawking about if their tent mate was gay, fighting in with them. Would they would? I don't know that I can trust them. Why?
The tent mate was not somebody who refused an lawful order, right?
That's right.
Agreed.
Okay, somebody who refuses a lawful order is a completely different story than somebody's personal.
But I think part
sex
of their
life.
argument was that the order wasn't constitutional. That's what my client said.
Good luck. Well,
Yeah.
take it to court.
Hmm.
Whatever. Or let me know
Yeah.
when they decide that any order that the military puts down there is not constitutional. I think we've
Yeah.
already crossed over that bridge many years ago.
Well, on a somewhat happier, somber note,
Hey.
tomorrow is Wreath Across America.
Yes, it is.
And I was able to get some information yesterday to kind of clarify, because there was a lot going around about different times for individuals to show up, for volunteers to show up, things like that. So what the current lady in charge has told me yesterday was, if people have bought individual wreaths, and again, this is what I was told by the current lady in charge. If you bought individual wreaths, the best thing to do is show up about 11:30.
11:30.
Yes, they've
11:30.
changed it all now.
Yeah,
Okay.
11:30, and what's going to happen is at 12 noon they'll begin the ceremony. After the ceremony, the lady in charge will ask all the volunteers to just remain in their seats to allow the individuals who bought wreaths on their own for their family members or whoever the opportunity to pick up their wreath and go to their gravesite.
Yeah, so there's no
And
need to
then-
come at 10:30 anymore. Around 11:30, start coming in, park, come on up, and they'll do
Yeah.
the ceremony. And then the ones like you, me, Kelly, that bought individual wreaths, we'll
Yeah.
get the opportunity first to pick up our wreaths and go place them before the rest of the public does it. So,
Okay, I'm glad you cleared it up.
Right.
yes.
Okay, my daughter's listening, so
Right.
daughter,
Yeah.
you hear that now. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that came from the person in charge. And unless you really want to sit in the cold for an hour
No.
and a half,
Nope.
I wouldn't get there at 10:30.
No.
Well, the weather's going to be kind of nice out there.
It's gonna be
It'll
frightful.
about 50, 55 degrees in the morning going
It'll
towards
be
noon.
frightful.
Rayford,
Yeah,
that's
well,
cold.
That's
40
good
degrees
because
was
that's gonna
cold
set
yesterday.
that'll set things up for next weekend. Ho, ho, ho.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
All right, Chris, stop.
Yes.
No snow.
Yes.
No, all right. Well, look, y'all have a blessed weekend.
You
and,
too, Mark.
See y'all
Chris.
out at the
Thank you.
Wreath Against
Chris.
Right.
Across America. And goodbye.
There
Yeah.
you go,
Take
sir.
care.
Appreciate your input, sir.
Have a blessed day. You're welcome.
All right, let's take a break. You're live and local, Real Talk Freedom, 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. Weather's next. And just hot off the presses here, and you see right down there where it says hot off the presses just arrived from George and Elise down at Tideline Marine. 9.9 to 25 horsepower outboard motors that got in a load, and I don't mean
Ooh.
one or two, it's about 10. 9.9 to 25 horsepower. These are tiller motors now. Only that means they don't hook them up to a steering wheel or the remote control, all that. They
Right.
got various 15 and 20-inch shaft lengths. And Merry Christmas, y'all. Free installation on your boat. You bring it buy that motor. It'll be put on your boat, hooked up, ready to rock and roll in time for Christmas.
I like it.
And this is through Christmas now.
Mhm.
So first come, first serve. If you've been shopping for motors, you know that it's really, really tough to find them. And these tiller motors have been back ordered and for forever, it seems like. So Tideline Marine, that's the place for you to go. They open the doors in about 58 minutes. Come on down, first come, first serve for those 9.9 to 25 horsepower tiller motors. Oh my, 15 and 20-inch shaft lengths
Well, that's
for
good.
various small boats out there. Get on down, get her done today, tomorrow. You'll be a happy person. Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville.
Today, partly sunny, high of 58. Tonight, clear, cold, low of 35. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high of 57. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy. I started saying mostly cloudy, partly cloudy, low of 33. And on Sunday, sunny, gusty with gusts as high as 15 and a high of only 50.
Now that's going to be a chilly day.
That's going to be chilly. It's got a strong
And
cold
Sunday
front.
night, yeah, 28 degrees. Woo.
Right, a strong cold front has pushed across the area overnight this past night, yesterday, bringing gusty winds leading to hazardous boating conditions. Dry and cool high pressure will build over the area over the weekend and into early next week. As a result, a small craft advisory remains in effect through Sunday afternoon. Westerly winds 15 to 20, seas 5 to 7, subsiding to 4 to 5 in the afternoon near shore. The sea is going to be 3 to 5, dominant period 7 seconds, sounds and rivers choppy. Westerly winds 15 to 20 tomorrow. Gusts to 25, seas big 4 to 6, 3 to 4 near shore. Dominant period 10 seconds, sounds and rivers choppy. And again on Sunday, northwesterly winds 15 to 20, gusts to 25. They will finally start to come down in the afternoon, seas 4 to 6 feet. Good morning, Victor, the mayor of Half Moon.
Good morning, y'all.
How are you?
Pap and strap for Congress.
That was last term. Got to try to get. Are you
Right.
looking at the future?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ms. Lee, I got to thank you for passing on my question to Dr. Gregg
Congressman,
and Mr. Murphy.
yes, you're welcome.
Were you satisfied with his answer?
I understand his answer. I was pretty satisfied with it. It's something that I've not really gotten into either way.
Okay.
But I have to respect the fact that he's a doctor and he spoke like a doctor on this subject.
Which I would expect him to do.
Right.
No, that's why I see, I keep using this analogy to the great Robert Stevenson story. Okay, of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I respect Dr. Gregg, and I do not like Mr. Murphy because he went into politics and he drank the Republican Kool-Aid. Okay, and that's where he changes from Dr. Gregg into Mr. Murphy. If people didn't catch that analogy.
Well, I don't agree with that because once you become an elected official, you have to serve everyone, and your outlook on a lot of things change. And yes, you were elected as a Republican, so you uphold the Republican values, but you're still working for all the people. And going into DC, you've got to consider the toll and the time it takes. Going to DC, sitting there, going through all these long votes and sitting in on all these committees. I mean, it's just not as easy as anyone thinks.
And you're also only one of 435 25.
That's right.
Yes. Well,
So I
was-
think you
I
have. I'm sorry. I think you have to have the experience of going in there and being a part of Congress and dealing with all your other, fellow congressmen, fellow senators. There's a lot more to it than just saying, okay, we elected you, now go do your job. And we expect a certain thing out of them. Sometimes we expect too much or too little.
Well, I was very dissatisfied with what he had to say because it showed his ignorance on the issue, and even on the medical side.
In what way,
He's-
Vic? Explain
Oh,
yourself.
he cited one little study out of Duke, and then went on to talk about his personal experiences being in the District of Columbia, which mostly he complains about a waiter reeking of marijuana.
Yeah.
He never told us whether that waiter gave him good service or whether he tipped that waiter.
That's
Okay.
because the subject wasn't about the waiter service. It was about marijuana.
Yeah, well, he uses the word stink and he uses the word reek
It does.
constantly.
It does both. It stinks and it reeks.
So, yeah, this all depends on the individual.
Mhm.
Okay, I have a friend who's very, very olfactory challenged. Okay, if he walks by a Yankee Candle shop, to him that reeks. And speaking of reeking, we've got Christmas coming up, and people put out all those fragrances, to cover up the stink in their
You
house.
are not trying to compare that to the stink of pot, are
I
you?
say we just got
Are
off
you
subject
are you
here.
trying to compare that at all to the
Yes, I am.
obnoxious, addictive, and overpowering smell, stink, rank of
Since when is-
used pot?
since
I
when-
don't like
since when-
cigarette smoke. I certainly don't
Yes,
like pot smoke.
No, you certainly don't. No.
It
Okay.
infringes
And-
upon my right to be in a public place. And secondhand smoke or secondhand pot smoke, same difference. They are obnoxious.
That's all in the nose of the beholder.
Good. It's in my nose and it stinks. Stay away from me.
Well, let me ask you this, Vic. If you were not
Yes,
a pot smoker and you did,
I am not a pot smoker.
Okay.
It's illegal in North Carolina.
okay,
Oh, that's his story right now.
let's just say you did not smoke marijuana at all and that you were against it. How would you feel then at what Dr. Murphy said? You would be on the other side of the fence then, right?
I'm sorry, I missed that question.
Oh, that's one of the cells that's missing. Go
Well, I
ahead.
don't understand. Okay, I don't understand what Lee just asked either. Lee,
No, I'm just saying,
rephrase.
Vic, if you did not ever smoke marijuana and you were firmly against legalizing marijuana, would you then agree with what Dr. Murphy had to say?
Still no.
Okay.
He did not behave professionally, even as a physician. He has not done his research on this subject, and he is going against what his constituency wants, which is at least what George Pappenstrap wanted and Rayford wants, which is legalized cannabis. Okay? The question was, should the federal government lift classifying marijuana as a class 1 narcotic? That was the question, and he totally dodged it and disappointed me.
Okay. Let's get it nice and straight. Legalization of cannabis. Cannabis used that would be the cannabis extract, not pot. You can't smoke it.
Mhm.
I am absolutely totally opposed to smoking dope. Okay, and it is
Yeah,
dope.
you want edibles. Yeah.
I want something. I prefer a pill form. It has no flavor. It has nothing else except pain relief.
Yeah, and it doesn't get you high.
And it doesn't get you high, and it's non-addictive.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you do a bunch of anything, including aspirin, you're going to have an issue. Tylenol, you're going to have an issue. So you take it as prescribed only for pain relief.
Like you did with ibuprofen.
Yeah, as the doctor told me to do.
Yeah. And how'd that work for you?
Well, that was a doctor that I don't have anymore. I have fired 3 this year,
Yeah.
and I might not be through. You never can tell.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But going back to repealing the classification of marijuana as a class 1 narcotic. That was the question.
He's not in favor of that. Not any time
No,
I've ever talked to him.
Nope.
Okay.
He will not. He will not
That's
allow it to happen.
that's promoting pot smoking, right?
No, it is not. It's going with the will of the people.
It's
Only
promoting
is
pot
supposed
smoking.
to-
What else do you use pot for? If you're
Well-
not, unless it's as an extract for medical purposes, what else do you use it for? Vic,
Get
who never
back-
smokes
get
pot.
Get back to the point.
Well,
Okay.
all the people have to do, Vic, is contact all your House of Representatives, your state representatives, your federal representatives, and if enough people contact them and ask them to have a referendum put on the next bill for the 2024 elections, there you go. And if it's the voice of the people, then the voice of the people will speak, and they'll change
Okay.
it.
The majority of Americans support medical marijuana.
Based
39 states.
Based
Yeah.
upon where your information comes from.
No, this is just general knowledge. 39 states. No. Go look it up. 39 states have legalized medical marijuana. 21 have legalized recreational. Okay, go look at the polls for North Carolina, and you'll see, the overwhelming majority, like 76%.
Let me write the questions for your poll, and I'll have them in favor of ingrown toenails for everybody. Not a problem.
No. I'm sure your little computer guys are busily looking up this right now, and check the polls. I mean, they're out there.
Which polls?
I'm looking at weather.
There
But
are
I
polls
can't.
out there that you can have them do anything you want to have them do. Depends upon the questions. I used to subscribe to polls. I had to write the questions.
You're dodging an issue again.
No, I'm not. You do not know that a majority of North Carolinians support the legalization of pot for people like you to smoke legally.
I don't smoke pot. Why
I
do you keep
said for
accusing me
you
of
to
that?
smoke legally. I did not say that you do smoke it.
Yes, you did.
I said for you to smoke legally, a majority of North Carolinians, you claim, support the legalization of pot so that people like you and you could smoke pot legally.
They support the legalization of medical marijuana.
And
Okay.
is that the pot smoking version, or is that the pill type?
Well, what I found on here, according to Pew Research, whatever that is, in 2019, now this is from then, 6 in 10 Americans, 59%, favor legalizing of marijuana for medical and recreational use, while another 32% say it should be legal for medical use only. Only 8% say it should not be legal. According to what I don't know what Pew Research
and
is.
there's a whole bunch of researchers polls on here, and I've been in. One says 2 out of 3 support. Another one says less than 50%. So it depends on who does the poll.
Absolutely, and how the question is written.
That's right.
Now, according to this,
all right. Now we're way late.
Oh yeah, we are.
Vic.
Oh wow, we are.
All right.
Yikes.
So,
Okay.
thank you, sir.
Thanks for the use of the hall.
Have a good weekend.
Strap for Congress.
Okay, that's 2024.
I could get
invoice
behind
is in
that,
the
though.
mail.
Yeah. I like that.
Bye-bye.
Your live and local real talk. Don't go away. We'll be right back. All right, we're back just for a minute or so before we have to take another break. We
Nice.
just got backed up a little bit. So
Mhm.
tell me about Washington. Is that what you just saw?
I saw it.
You
I'm
got you-
mad
you-
about it. Got my blood pressure
got
up
you
now.
going
I need
again.
to check
Oh,
my heart
yes.
rate. I am. Oh my word, Rayford.
Yes.
Illegal immigrants who are residing in the state of
You mean
Washington
illegal aliens? They came into this country illegally and
Well-
they remained, right?
will now be able to access health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. Yet, what I'm mad about is we still have citizens who cannot access insurance.
Yeah.
I have clients that can't even get Medicaid.
They
But
got
an
to
illegal,
go-
they need to just leave the
Leave the
country,
country
come back in illegally, and they'll be able to get
come
it.
back in as Jose
Oh,
Jimenez or
I-
something.
My head hurts right now. I'm so mad about this.
Get yourself a fake ID. Call yourself Jose Jimenez.
just-
And
this
y'all
is-
don't even know who Jose Jimenez was, do you?
No, but this is.
I know the
this is
name. I
angering.
remember the name.
Jose
Yeah.
Jimenez was a little
Yes.
puppet on the Ed Sullivan Show.
That's right.
That's where I know.
I remember
that name.
I was
said, why do I
I
know
was
that
real
name?
small child watching that. Jose.
Rayford, this is so wrong.
It is absolutely wrong.
That our own citizens
Yep.
cannot. I have clients that have to pay out of pocket for therapy because they cannot get Medicaid,
Uh-huh.
but an illegal immigrant can.
Yeah.
This is so wrong.
God, we take
so
care of
wrong.
them
Look
so
what's
good, don't
happening
we?
in El
So
Paso.
wrong.
I mean,
Oh,
their shelters
Lord.
are overrun.
My head
right now.
hurt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
El Paso. All right, let's take a quick break. Caller, don't go away. We'll get with you just as soon as we get back. You're live and local Real Talk. And we're back on the line right now. George Papistrat. Hey, George, what's up?
Good morning, y'all. How you doing?
Good
We're
morning,
fine.
George.
What is this, Pot Smokers for George Day?
Yeah.
My spidey senses were ringing, and believe it or not, I have something to talk about. I love talking about cannabis and marijuana and how much it can help us in the medical world, but that's not actually why I called. Someone else did all that discussion for me earlier, just not as clean as I could have done it.
There you go. Hey, what you call about?
Benefits, of all things.
Benefits.
Healthcare.
There you go.
Healthcare. So, because we're talking about the whole thing in the leftist part of our country.
Yes.
And the illegal alien and the use of the healthcare. And so what I find astonishing is a veteran, an employer, and a U.S. citizen, and I can't figure out how to, one, if I didn't have the VA and TRICARE, how I could ever afford to have insurance as a I couldn't as a small business owner. And two, how do you do it for your employees? And I love the point. You got to point your finger at someone and place the blame to be able to have a solution. And I finally figured it out. And for example, like if you look in North Carolina, at best we get 1/4 of the people that show up and actually vote on an election day. But we haven't held anyone accountable. We don't question anything. We don't say this doesn't make sense. We hold no one accountable, and it just kind of all fizzled completely out of control to where you have no accountability of any system. It's incredible.
Yeah, 2/3 of the registered voters here in Onslow County. Well, that's the county we're all familiar with. 2/3 of the registered voters in Onslow County failed to show up for what I think was one of the most important midterm elections that I can remember. Period. I know it's a midterm, but it was an important midterm. 2/3 of those voters failed to show up. Where were they?
Well, things like Medicare and Medicaid expansion, all of those things are within the platform of people running, and that's what would have to change to apply to the good benefit program to the country. Mm-hmm. It's astonishing. Anyway, but that's very true. And it's very upsetting that you can move to a different state or a different, how untapped our country is. That there you can be an illegal alien from a different country that doesn't belong here, but you could have a U.S. citizen that works. And, I was talking to the health department in Onslow County last week. They call it the working poor. If you're in your 30 to 50 years old and make 20 to 50 grand a year, you can't afford health care and you don't qualify for free health care.
There you go.
Yep.
It's the most vicious cycle that somehow we as Americans let happen to ourselves and we have the responsibility to fix.
Well, the only way we can fix it is at the polls. We cannot fix it out here otherwise. All we can do is try to educate the non-voting public. Just try to get them to the polls, vote their conscience. I mean, we got another big election coming up in less than 2 years now. And people are already running. They're coming out of the gate from the presidential side. We've got people that we know are going to run for state and local offices, and we're seeing all sorts of stuff. But I'm just not seeing the people turn out.
No,
they will 2024.
What are we going to get? Twice as many? 75%?
About
that'd be 50%.
67, 68% is my prediction.
That's not enough.
No, it's not. I'm talking about just in Onslow County.
There should be an 85% turnout
absolutely.
in Onslow County, period.
And if these people do things right, they need to work on that. That needs to be part of their platform.
The parties need to work on that.
Yes.
Period.
The party's too busy wanting money. I'm still getting emails.
There's going to be a real big shift toward that unaffiliated, in general.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Well, it has in Onslow.
We picked up another 1,600.
Yeah, 1,600. What did I say? 1,649 or something like that now over the Republicans.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, everybody's tired of the fighting.
We're winning. Mm-hmm. I'm winning. Join the winning team. There you go. I could get you a new slogan going, George.
Join the winning team.
And join the winning team and get free install on your outboard tiller motor.
Yes.
I talked about that a little bit earlier. I'm looking at it looks like a warehouse full of motors in here. Still got the
Oh
wrap
my
around
God, we
them.
got so many
Holy
motors in.
moly! How did that happen? Don't
I,
ask.
I
Don't
Now,
think
tell.
there's-
the truck showed up.
I'm telling you, I'm looking
They
at
fell out.
I'm looking at motors boxed up that look like they did fall off a truck or somewhere. They looked like they fell off the back of a truck. It just so happened they slowed down in front of Tideline Marine, snatch and grab. So
Oh, juice, snatch and grab sale?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
We literally tried taking them stacked 5 high off the back of the truck.
oh my,
Wow.
my,
Yeah, we got 10 motors in 2 days.
good gracious! All right, that's about more than you got in all of last year, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all of last year's motors I didn't get.
Well, finally they're catching up. All right, well, that's good,
Yep.
George. Tideline Marine, for those who missed the weather earlier, Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. They got a bunch of outboards here, 10 of them, Mercury's 9.9 to 20 horsepower and some 15 and 20-inch shafts, all tiller. And George has promised that by Friday next week, if you buy one of those motors, it'll be on your boat, ready to roll and go catch some Christmas trout. How's that sound?
Only if you bring us a fish, though.
Yeah, well, we get one fish each.
Yeah.
All right.
That's our commission.
There you go. All right, George, thank you, sir.
Yep, I'll talk to y'all soon.
Yep, you
Yeah,
take
bye,
care.
George.
You opened it up there, Kelly, and I know I'm late already. You opened it up. What is wrong with us? Charity begins at home, number one.
Mhm.
We got to take care of our own.
Yes.
There are so many stories of people out there. Let's just take some groups, like some ministers out there, are more concerned about the entire flock than they are about their own families.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, I'm not just picking on ministers, but there are people
Well, I
out
agree
there,
with that. Yeah.
do-gooders out there,
Yeah.
who are so more concerned about taking
Mhm.
care of everybody else out there. We are now a do-gooder nation,
Correct.
and we're not taking care of our own.
Agreed.
So we got to get over this crap.
Well, if you, don't open it up to illegal immigrants before you've allowed every American citizen to be able to access that health insurance.
And
Bottom
eat.
line.
And have food and have
Yes.
our veterans, our homeless veterans out there, then get them out of the woods, get them out of their shelter halves, get them out of the cardboard boxes.
There's too many children that don't
Yes.
have access to medical care.
Yeah.
Too
Get
many
'em-
of adults, like
there
George
are
said.
kids
Yeah.
living with their parents in cars
Yeah.
within spitting distance of where we
So
are right
sad.
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Certainly are. And if this does not anger everybody, I don't know what will then. Like, we have to allow our citizens to get access to the insurance before we start letting illegal immigrants do it.
You're
Bottom
right.
line.
Yeah, and they don't pay for it.
No.
The federal government pays for it.
Which means we're paying for it.
Same thing.
Yeah.
You're live and local Real Talk. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Well. Did you know we've been blasting the president, and we should not have been blasting the president?
What?
According to Corinne Jean-Pierre,
Oh,
his paid liar,
yes.
Mhm.
also known as a press secretary, Her words, what Americans should know is that the president has done the work to deal with what we are seeing at the border since day one.
Okay, what? Say that again. I'm making sure.
What Americans should know is
Uh-huh.
that the president has done the work to deal with what we're seeing at the border since day one.
Has done
Did she
the work.
expound on that? Like, did she?
Wait, what? Okay.
Mm.
Has
She
done-
criticized Republicans for executing political stunts.
What are we seeing at the border?
Because the Republicans have been bringing all those illegals over there in El Paso area
Mhm.
so that we can just claim that the president ain't doing nothing. That's what it,
But what do-
you Republicans, both of you and all of the other Republicans out
Yes.
there have gone out and recruited illegals from multiple countries, not just Central and South American countries, but countries all over the world to come into Mexico and sneak up and sneak across the border, or just come across the border and stroll up and say, here I am, take care of me, just to make the president look bad. That's what you Republicans have been doing.
I'm sorry, that wasn't on my ballot when I
Well,
voted.
hold on, Raven. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the whole. What has Biden done at the border?
Nothing.
I'm legitimately asking that she's saying he's done. What has he done
We
other
can-
than open the borders?
We continue to see political stunts from many Republicans out there, and that's not how we're going to fix this issue. They want to secure the border. We've been doing that work on our own, and we're asking them to, hey,
Wait, where's
there's
the
an
border
immigration
secure?
reform plan that the president put out on the first day. They should work with us and do this in a bipartisan way. That's what she said.
One, that made no sense what you just said.
No,
And
I
two,
just-
that's just
I just
rambling.
read it.
That's like drunken rambling, right?
Well,
Well,
there.
was that after her lunch? This press
And
conference?
then
This
the
presser?
second
You mean
thing
the two
is,
martini one?
but then the second thing is if his plan is to secure our borders by offering free health care, it's going to have the opposite of, I just can't. These people make my head hurt.
Well, I guess this federal judge down Texas way, Biden's effort to terminate that Trump policy, remain in Mexico, it got a stay by a U.S. District Court judge this week. Litigation bounced between several different courts, and this is what happened. The decision comes nearly 6 months after the Supreme Court ruled on a memorandum issued on June 1st this year from the Department of Homeland Security. Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, a guy that is as useless as
Oh, I
them,
forgot that guy's
as
still in
useless
there.
as them.
Yeah.
In his memo, Mayorkas terminated migration protection protocols, commonly referred to as the Remain in Mexico policy. The state of Texas filed litigation against the move, asserting the memorandum violated the Immigration and Nationality Act, or INA, under which an alien who arrives on land from a foreign territory can be returned to that territory after a court hearing. There is a law on the books that the Supreme Court did not overturn. That law
Then-
says that if we find them on our land, if they've managed to get on our land, give them a court hearing and send their butts a packing.
Well, then why has that
aren't we
not being
doing it?
enforced?
Because
Yeah.
the president said, no, we're not going to enforce that.
Well, no, we're going to give them free health care.
And we're going to
While
free
our own
healthcare
citizens
while
don't
they're
have anything.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
think we need to clean up our own country first before
Tell
we
me
start
about it.
inviting other people
I
in.
agree.
Tell me about it. Yes, that's,
I know that. Oh,
Well, I
Rayford,
saw
how's your blood
something.
pressure?
Well, here's something pretty cool, I think. And I think
good.
I'm, as a parent or a grandparent now, because my kids are grown, but I could get behind this, and I guarantee a lot of people can too. Missouri school district this past Tuesday voted to adopt a 4-day school week starting in fall of
There's going to
2023.
be extra hours for this other day.
No, but they're
Really?
saying it's because they can't get, there's a teacher shortage
Oh.
and a bus driver shortage and everything. Like, and once they adopted that, which makes sense because, some days are like half days, or there's a lot of fluff in education, in my opinion, you have to
Cut
go
out study
so many
halls.
days. So
Mhm.
anyway, once they did that, they had like a 40% jump just in 24 hours of applications for teachers.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're going to get the same pay basically for working 4 days.
Yeah.
That's why there's a 40%
It's the
jump.
independent school
That's a
district. I
raise.
think they are getting a raise basically.
Any way you look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see it as a bad thing. A lot of businesses are going to 4-day work weeks.
Oh, yeah, but
Mhm.
generally they work 10 hours a day.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's like
That's
a
true.
lot of
Yeah.
law enforcement
But I mean,
agencies
you
went
can, if you go
10 or
back
12
to the
hour days.
basics of and stop teaching to a test, you can
Yes,
get everything done in 4 days
yes,
with these students in a
absolutely.
regular school day.
Yes.
Bottom line,
Teach
there's too much
just the
fluff,
basics.
and they teach to a test. And you wonder why our American kids don't know anything, because they're not learning the
Because they're
basics,
teaching them
and
nothing.
yeah, and they're teaching to a standardized test
Mhm.
versus teaching them what they should be.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, you want to talk about that. Are you up on the bill that some of our representatives are trying to pass through the North Carolina House to change the school calendar in Onslow County?
No. What
Yes,
now?
yes.
Gonna make it January through whatever?
Started after Labor Day.
Oh, well, that's been
We
on
tried
again,
that
off
once
again.
before. Right.
Yeah, it depends upon where you are.
Yeah, the House Select Committee, but
It used to be after Labor Day because
of
honestly,
tobacco
North Carolina
seasoning.
was a
Right.
rural state, and tobacco was king, and yada yada yada, and they needed their younguns, their kids,
Right.
to help work in the last days of the tobacco deals, right?
Right.
Which generally was considered to be Labor Day.
I don't know. Maybe Melissa or Bill Lanier will call in about that, but there's been a lot of controversy over it now because the school calendar that they have had, it's been working, and they parallel it with military moves
Yeah.
and new
Uh-huh.
coming
Yep.
in and stuff like that. A lot of it's paired to work with the military because we live in a military community.
Well, in North Carolina, do you know there's a group looking to change work with our legislators to change when school starts and ends here, which I'm all for that too.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Because right now, they're talking about how you have to start basically the last Monday in
That's right.
No,
That's-
and I start saying November, geez, August, and ends no later than June 11th. But they're looking to have it start the Tuesday after Labor Day,
yeah, that's what I'm
and
talking
end
about.
the
Yes.
last Friday of the month of May.
Well, I know a lot of people.
I'm all for it.
They said Onslow County's calendar begins in early August prior to Labor Day to accommodate military unit rotations, permanent change of stations,
We've got to have the flexibility
teacher
to be able to
workload.
do that.
Right. High
Yeah.
school student testing schedules so they occur before the Christmas break.
All right, we got one or two calls this morning. Good morning. Who's this?
Good morning, deplorables.
Hello, Mr. Deplorable, Mr.
Well, hello.
Obstructionist.
How are you?
How we doing today?
Doing
we're
good.
hanging in here.
It's Friday.
Did you call your one of the callers Mark instead of Chris?
It's his last name.
Yeah.
His last name is Marks.
I called him
Yeah.
Chris throughout, but then I inadvertently at one point in time and called him Marks.
He
That's
called him
his
by his
last
last name.
Yeah,
Did you use a 7 last time you gave the number out instead of a 9?
he did.
Theo, I know
you're
it's
making-
stop.
You're
the last-
making
not
fun
the
of the
last time.
president, right? You're making fun of the president?
No, I'm not
And
making
you
fun of
don't
the
even know
president.
some of the
I feel
titles of
sorry
your
for the
guests
president.
showing up. What's the matter with you?
I feel sorry for the president.
Yeah, okay. All right, look at yourself first. Where's the Christmas decoration?
Goodness.
We've got it.
Oh, shoot.
Lee's wearing it.
Kelly's got a Christmas shirt
Kelly's
on.
wearing it.
All right, so listen.
I've got the spirit. See, Kelly?
I've got my elf
Look at that pretty.
Christmas shirt on from the
Did
movie.
you see anything happen last night when you had the show on?
No.
We haven't gone back to check.
I did spot checking throughout.
Yeah.
So last week when you had the commissioners on there, both of them, Tim and Robin,
Yeah.
I tried calling you 3 times. I
Yes.
couldn't get through.
Yes.
Then you had Sheriff Miller or former Sheriff Miller. I tried calling you again. I couldn't get through.
Yeah.
When are you going to fix this stuff?
We're working on it.
Here's the thing. There are some people that do not want to take calls. Some
Yeah.
of our guests do not want to accept calls. Can't control that. That's up to them. We leave it up to them. If we got 2 lines that are running busy at a time, you're still going to be able to you'll hear it ringing, but just what they call a caller ID. Welcome to the 21st century. It's one of those things that we don't know it's even ringing. Okay. It's just there. It goes into oblivion. It's a thing. There's nothing I can do to fix it. There's nothing that can be done to fix it. Period. Bottom line.
You sure?
Absolutely. Now, if we have 2 callers on the air at one time, we at this point in time cannot put both callers on the air. Working on it.
Okay. So they picked Mark Price to be the next commissioner, right?
Correct.
So the click is back on, right? Now, when are they going to go to term limits, these people? Robin, if you're listening, why don't you go to term limits? You give these people 8 years and then they're out. You know, I've been here for 18 years in it, and I can't get a Democrat in there because you guys throw your own people in there all the time.
What?
Seven of them.
How are term limits going to stop a Democrat from getting into office?
Listen, we get a chance if we know that somebody's going to run for 8 years and then they drop out. Okay? We get a chance. It's something rather than this. Okay? It's just fair for you people to put 7 people on there, Republicans, and go on with the show.
Well,
That's how the people voted.
Here's your problem,
Yeah, of course they're
Theo.
going to vote for them because they know them.
Here's your
Of course they're
problem.
going to vote for them.
Theo, here's your problem. You've got 24,000 Democrats in Onslow County, registered Democrats.
And where's our chance? Where's our chance? So we got 24. Where's our chance?
You've got 45,000 Republicans. Are you just wanting to put a token Democrat in there just because you want a Democrat in there?
No. Why you think the Republicans are only the best men for the job?
I'm not a Republican. Absolutely not.
No. Let me tell you about the unaffiliated. You're all dressed up and know where to go. Okay?
I don't base it on whether a person is a Democrat, Republican, or independent.
Yeah.
I base my vote on whoever's running and who I think is the better person or the best person.
Okay. So give us a fair, do the right thing and do a fair election, okay? And put the term limits in there so everybody gets a chance to have at least one person representing them. The unaffiliated, you jump ship, you go over, you were Republicans, most of you jump ship instead of staying Republican and fixing the party so you're respected, you jump ship, right? And all of a sudden, you're special, right? Suppose you get Marjorie Taylor Greene as an affiliated. Now what are you going to do? Jump ship again?
Well, first of all, I have never been a Republican. I've never been. I've never joined the Republican Party. Neither has my wife, and neither has a whole bunch of other people that I know who are now independents.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just said you got another 1,500 people that jump ship and are unaffiliated.
Yeah.
Stay with your party and make it better. You know, don't just leave and say, "Well, I'm not either or." But how do you vote then? How do you vote?
I vote the way that I want to for the individual who's running.
That don't mean nothing.
Yes, it does.
Well, I think, Theo, sometimes people leave because they get so fed up with the nonsense. And I know somebody in particular that just left the local Republican Party because they are so tired of the crap within it. They just couldn't take it anymore. And they just said, you know what, instead of dealing with this, because they tend to think independently anyway, they just switched to being independent. I think sometimes
how's that going to make anything better when they jump ship?
I think for their mental health and sanity,
they
had to. Yeah. I'm thinking of somebody very in particular. They just couldn't do. There's so much shenanigans in the local Onslow GOP. They just couldn't take it anymore. And I get it. I do. But I'll be a liar if I would say I hadn't contemplated it because I'm just tired of the nonsense. But I mean, yeah. I mean, it just is. It's just, and I hear what you're saying about trying to fix it, but sometimes with some people, you can't reason with everybody, and it becomes so exhausting to try to fix it that it's just easier just to walk away.
And vote your own.
Yeah, and
your
just
own
vote
way.
the way you want to vote. Yeah, without having to deal with the fluff and the crap and the stuff. But I understand what you're saying, Theo, and I get it. I do.
Say both Democrat and
Yeah.
Republican parties, their mandate to their members vote either Democrat or Republican. That is their mandate. They don't say ever.
Okay.
Neither party says go vote for the better person, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Let me give you one more
that's
subject,
why
okay?
that's
Do we
why
have
people
time?
like me are independents, and we don't want to take that as an order to vote however I'm told. I don't do it.
I don't know. You confuse me. Okay,
I'm sorry.
you got me confused.
I'll
But let me
slow it
talk to
down
one
for
more
you.
subject. Do we have time?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the food trucks, right?
Yes.
My wife and I go out to eat every week. We have hit at least 70 of the 100% restaurants in this town. They're all dirty. So instead of them worrying about the food trucks, they should clean up their stores. Some of them are really bad, and we have stopped going to them.
You're not wrong. I agree with you.
Okay? Now,
Yeah.
you're talking about you want tourists. If the tourist comes in here and stays at a hotel and hits one of the restaurants around it, they'll freak out. Okay? They're very dirty. They're good for about two years after they're built, like the new one is being built right now. Wait till 2 years and then you'll see it starts losing your loving feeling.
Well, I'm
Okay.
just, only thing I understand what you're saying, and I've been to places
He's
that
not wrong.
I will have to agree with you, but the only grading system that we have is done by the health department. They go through and they do their little routine, right?
Mhm.
That's what I'm worrying about. I'm trying to figure out. My wife and I are talking and said, where is the health department to do something drastic here? You lock one of them up, then the others will learn. I mean, you got people. Their parking lots have holes in them, and you go inside. Their furniture is dirty. Their carpets are dirty. But if you notice, the prices lately have gone up.
Well,
Okay.
let me ask you this one. Have you ever said, I'd like to speak to the manager and explain to them your concerns?
Should I do it before they give me the food or after?
I would do it after.
Theo, let me tell you what I do. I literally, and
Smart question, Theo.
Yes.
some
Good.
restaurants I have walked in here locally and I look at the rating. And I'm going to tell you right now, if it's anything lower than an A, I turn around and walk right
Oh,
back
yeah,
out.
absolutely.
But some people don't. And some people haven't noticed it until after. No, that's scary. Yeah.
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 So we're
Oh,
starting to go to Wilmington most of the time. I have to drive all the way to Wilmington because our restaurants are not good. The health department is listening, please. Go in there and start giving a stricter rating to these places and start showing up some interest in, especially handling food.
Theo, in Wilmington, New Hanover County, when I lived there, was for a little over 30 years, my last stint. The health department was out on a regular basis. And I know of several restaurants that were closed
Yeah,
until they could clean up their acts.
exactly.
Okay.
That's what we need here.
I do not know of any around here who have, because I'm
Yeah.
not in the business of getting those reports every week like I was when I was a news director. I got all the health department reports because
Yeah.
they're public. You can
Yeah.
get them too if you so desire.
Yeah.
And to read, I'll tell you what, really cool. Read one of those reports sometime. Sometimes they're looking like really kind of nitpicking, ridiculous. Sometimes it's like that'll scare the bejesus out of you. Cockroaches here and little mouse droppings here and stuff like that. You'll read the reports sometime. Go down and ask the health department for a copy of their November health reports. See what
Look,
you get.
we're looking to go out and have a good time. I'm not looking here for statistics and go through out of my way.
well, but
to
they'll
do this
educate you. You know
stuff.
where to go. But I hear what,
You know?
yeah,
So,
Maybe we ought to pull those
I'm for
one
the
day.
food
we
trucks.
do.
We-
You know what? We'll
okay.
do that, Theo. We'll pull the
We're gonna pull
reports.
them. I
Yeah.
used to do it all the time.
Yeah.
There's people
I
that
was
have
one of
these
the
restaurants
hatest
for
guys in
years,
town.
Whoa.
and they don't do anything.
No free
the
dessert.
furniture is a mess. Everything's a mess. You know what I'm talking about.
I do,
mean, I don't have to
absolutely.
go on this.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's about it for today.
Okay.
And I hope by Monday I see some Christmas.
You will. We'll make.
Well,
we'll
look
give
at
you.
this
a-
girl.
I'm in a Christmas
Stand
shirt today.
up.
Okay.
If I don't see
Yeah.
any Christmas, I'm not calling again until I see Christmas.
There'll
Okay.
be Christmas Monday.
Yeah.
I let
Okay.
you down, Phil. That was my
Bah
fault.
humbug.
If I see it, I'll call back.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Oh,
right.
I've got
Have a
Christmas in
good
my car.
weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
You're live and local. Real Talk. Don't go away. We'll be right
Oh.
back. Tideline Marine right downtown on the banks of the New River at 159 New Bridge Street. They got some specials right now. They got a truckload of motors, outboard motors, and Mercury's 9.9 to 20 horsepower motors, all tiller controls. And right now, George says, come on down. We'll get it on your boat. You buy it now before Christmas, and we'll get it on your boat. You can go trout fishing during Christmas weekend. Okay, hurry on down. It's the perfect thing, perfect place to be. Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. A strong cold front that pushed across the area overnight, bringing gusty winds leading to hazardous boating conditions. Dry and cold high pressure will build over the area over the weekend and into early next week. As a result, a small craft advisory will remain in effect through Sunday afternoon. Today, winds out of the west at 15 to 20, seas 5 to 7, subsiding to 4 to 5 in the afternoon. Near shore seas 3 to 5, dominant period 7 seconds, sounds and rivers choppy. Tomorrow, westerly winds 15 to 20, gusts to 25, seas 4 to 6, except 3 to 4 near shore, dominant period 10 seconds, sounds and rivers choppy. Northwesterly winds on Sunday 15 to 20 with gusts to 25, diminishing to 10 to 15 in the afternoon, seas 4 to 6 feet, except 2 to 4 near shore.
Today, partly sunny, high of 58. Tonight, clear, cold, low of 35. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 57. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 33. And on Sunday, sunny, high of 50 and gusty. Yikes.
We got a caller. Good
Chilly.
morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How y'all doing today?
Good morning.
Steve, what's up?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just wanted to call in. I wanted to call in earlier, but I had to go give blood to the vampires this morning.
Oh, I got to do that later. But to the medical folks.
Yeah. Luckily, it was quick and easy. I don't even know what to start commenting on this morning. There's been so much. Let's see. The first thing I'd like to comment on is, I guess, the marijuana. However you want to categorize the topic y'all been talking about this morning.
It's kind of wide ranging. We got individuals who refer to it as legalized marijuana, both recreationally and medically. We got individuals who say, no way, but legalize cannabis for use as an extract for pain relief for people with arthritis and other diseases where they don't want to accept the medical profession's prescriptions of opioid after opioid after opioid after opioid.
Right.
Those are the two basics, yes.
Right. And there's been some studies too. Also, I know I've heard you advocate for the non-psychoactive version, which, but there's some stipulations to that as well. In California, they found that children suffer from a form of epilepsy, that marijuana stops the seizures, but it has to be the kind that gets you high. Now, we don't want to give that to children, but versus them having seizures and the medications that they have for them are not very effective and have terrible side
obviously,
effects.
I would want to look at all the studies for anything before anything is done, and that includes cannabis.
But what I would say is, the goalpost has been moved on you from where you were absolutely against any form of it to now you're advocating for a certain form of it. I would suggest that you dig a little deeper, and you might find that that there's a medical use at the very least.
If there's a medical use, I'm open for that, and I have been for quite some time. But
and I believe you are. You're becoming more progressive.
No. I have always been in that. If it's is first of all, it's just like an abortion. All right. Generally across the board, I do not support abortions. I certainly do not support abortions for birth control. But there are times when there are situations. A 12-year-old is raped and is pregnant. Duh. The health of the mother, the welfare, the future of the mother's life is in jeopardy. Well, yeah, that's a decision that has to be made.
Extenuating factors.
Okay.
All right. But anyway, beyond that, to the point of whether we should reschedule it, legalize it, not legalize it. My thoughts on it were we're at a point where in roughly 39 states in the United States, a person is considered a law-abiding citizen. But in a state like North Carolina, they can be maybe a felon for that same act. My belief is that if one state wants it and one state don't want it, then that's the state's rights. But I feel it's an imbalance of justice if for the
same act, a person is a law-abiding citizen in one state, and in another state, they're going to be a convicted felon.
Are you being kind of like New
Now-
York and North Carolina? If I go to New York with a magazine that holds more than 10 bullets in it, I'm a felon. Is that what you're saying?
And I agree with that as well. I think that, the same thing is that if it's legal in North Carolina for you to have a concealed carry and New York don't want you to do it, then they should be able to cite you for that or fine you for that, but they should not be able to imprison you for that
Mm-hmm.
because it is considered legal in the state you're from.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's an imbalance of justice. And when we have an imbalance of justice like that, why don't we just put it on the ballot and let the voters decide?
It's
instead of letting all
also
these
that
politicians
particular
decide?
situation is dealt with in the Constitution, and that's where our arguments are right now, both pro and con.
Right.
So, all
Well,
right.
it seems like most of the states, what they finally come to is that they let the voters decide. So why don't we just get rid of all the hem haul and just go to that, and then we know what the people want.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I said. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Anyway, I guess I'll leave it at that. I don't want to take up too much
All
y'all
right.
time this
Thank
morning,
you,
but y'all
Steve.
have a blessed weekend, and maybe I'll see y'all out somewhere about.
You never can tell.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm
Where
getting-
you at this weekend?
I'm getting a steak today.
Tonight I'm at the Emerald Club. Tomorrow I'm at 34 North, and Sunday I'm at the Boat Sound Distillery.
All
Okay.
right. Sounds good. Thank you, Steve.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a blessed day.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Check out Sports Talk today with Chris Rayner this morning at 9 o'clock, right after Live and Local.
Yes.
Sports Talk with Chris Rayner will be in here. East Duplin head football coach, Battle Holly will be the guest to chat about the Panthers 2A state championship win last week. Yay, yay, yay.
And how cool is
That will be
that?
cool. If you missed the show, the podcast will be online at WSME971.com and posted there right after the show today. So you'll have another chance to see it later on. Sometimes reruns are really cool. I know we're going to go dump Crook News.
I just had somebody text me, but Theo, take notice if you're watching on YouTube, you reminded
Wake
me
up,
on your
Theo.
call
Wake up,
that I
Theo.
had Christmas stuff in my car from the parade the other night that I had not taken out yet. So we have put it up in here in the
Yeah.
studio.
In less
you're
than
just for
90
you.
seconds.
Just for you,
Yeah,
Theo.
so we're
Just for
festive
you.
now.
That's right.
Got it?
I feel like I'm going to get hit with a candy cane.
You might. There's one overhead that's going to fall.
No, you're
No, I
good.
moved it. Yeah.
Where's the mistletoe? That's all I'm
I
wondering.
know, right?
We're
Some
going
guy
to
was selling it on the side of the road this weekend in the Target
Lord.
parking
It's
lot.
not the same if
probably
you
my
can't take your 22 rifle and go into the woods and pick out some mistletoe up in a tree
And just
start
shoot it out
shooting.
there?
Yeah, that's the way
Okay.
we used to do it.
Well, he had it all bagged up and packaged up.
Maybe he shot it out
He
because
might
of the
have, 'cause
price
he
of
said-
ammo.
Did he
Yeah.
have a
Local-
beard, kind of a short guy with a beard?
Yeah.
And that's Michael Gayhart.
I think he had a beard, but
Yeah,
he's short guy.
that sounds like him.
Yeah.
He sells it every year.
Yeah.
You know, I write some commentaries
$1.
from time to time, right?
Yes.
And I like writing them.
Mhm.
This is one that I did not write, but I should have. I really should have. Not much did I change, but I did verify some of the facts quoted in this one, and the facts were spot on. Starts out with a greeting to one and all of us. I hope this message makes you angry, like it made me angry. How can our government spend all this money and charge us for the expense of a round trip on a Gulfstream G550 private jet for a girl who hates America and kneels for the national anthem in protest of whatever? The trade was a pathetic move with Russia, since the guy our idiot president traded Grainer for is the merchant of death and has killed too many people to count. We're also paying all our medical bills 100% in a U.S. Army hospital. And on top of all that, the Biden administration left a Marine in prison in Russia to rot. Brittany Griner, flown home from Russia to San Antonio on a G550, that's a Gulfstream G550, at taxpayer expense. A G550 burns, and I confirm this, about 401 gallons per hour, and the cost per hour is $7,500 to operate that machine. It's 14 hours of flight time between Moscow and San Antonio, but first you have to get the jet over yonder. So roughly 28 hours of flight time at $7,500, $210,000, approaching $250,000 to go get her and bring her home. And that's just for fuel. Now, for all the liberal idiots, let's look at how ungreen this was. A G550 burns 400 gallons per hour. She caused 11,200 gallons of jet fuel to pollute our planet. She's also being treated at Brooks Medical Center, a military hospital, on our dime. Only in America can a person who uses drugs, kneels for our national anthem, and promotes green living can get this treatment on my tax dollar.
Yep.
I wish I had
I
written
have
that.
one question.
Mhm.
Where does she fall responsible in all of this?
Who had the dope?
Exactly.
Where did that come from? Did somebody force it on her, slip it to her, put it in her bag?
And should she not be made to pay all these expenses back?
I would say yes.
I mean, she broke
Yeah,
the
I
law.
would
She
say
was
yes.
wrong. I don't agree with her punishment
Where's
that
her
Russia
round
gave her.
trip
but
ticket? Didn't she have a
that's-
round trip ticket?
that's
Why not
right.
put her on the plane, send her back?
It's Russia's laws, but in which we may not agree with, but still she broke
I
them.
don't agree with them. Don't go there.
But we spent all this money.
Yes, we did.
Is she going to be made
Where's my
responsible
Marine
for
is all I
paying them
want to
back?
know. Where's my Marine?
That's right.
He's in jail in Russia. It ain't pretty in Russia.
No, it's not. Not from what I hear. I wouldn't know.
Okay, we'll take a break and dumb crooks are
Dumb
next.
crooks are next.
So maybe we'll get our lights back
Well, yeah,
up.
they fell. We'll
Well,
fix this.
It was a
Well,
temporary fault. We still,
We
it's
got
looking
this.
cool.
We'll get it going.
You're live and local Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME. We'll be right back with Dumb Crooks. And the ladies got their straps all straightened out again.
Yeah, we're good.
Temporarily.
We're going to change it up, but we just did a real quick job to appease Theo.
Yeah, Theo, hope you're happy. At
Well,
least going
festive
into the
in here now.
weekend.
Yeah.
We got some thanks to Kelly, who had a sleigh full of decorations.
I had
Yes,
just not
it was
cleaned
just
out my trunk
perfect.
yet. Like that's all it was, and from Saturday night's parade in
It was
Richlands.
perfect.
Just
So
leftover stuff.
I had not cleaned it out yet. So
Well-
see, thanks. And it just I had an epiphany while Theo was talking.
Yep, there she
Oh, yeah,
is.
it's in
I'll
my,
go
wait,
clean
it's
out-
in
I'll
my
go clean out
car.
my car.
Yeah.
I clean out my car. There's no telling what we'd find in there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it'd be.
Any biscuits?
No, I don't do that.
Mm.
I do have to go visit a doctor today, and
Yes.
with any luck at all, after
He is
my
hoping he can
doctor's
have a
visit,
steak.
I get to drive and have a steak.
He's hoping to have a
I'm
steak.
already-
I don't know,
I've
Rayford. Don't
heard-
get be disappointed now. Just don't get your hopes up too much. I'm just saying. They
Do
may-
not jinx me.
I'm not trying.
You
Just
dr-
I'm not
you
trying to
are
jinx
jinxing
you.
me. I'm doing
No,
good.
I'm just trying to prepare you just in case.
Oh, you're gonna be my first call. You realize that, right?
Okay, that's fine.
Because I'm gonna need couch therapy,
That's fine.
and you might need a Band-Aid.
That's fine. That's fine. I do have some good dumb crook news today, though.
Oh, good dumb crook news
I
means
know.
they got busted
I've
bad.
got some Christmas dumb crook, a couple of Christmas that happened this week,
Really?
and then something that happened a couple weeks ago. I'm not gonna call it Christmas, and then one is just plumb. Just I'm gonna save that one for last because you got to be some kind of dumb for that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What we got to do next week is before Christmas gets here,
Mhm,
we got to bring in Sergeant Sawyer
mhm,
again.
Yes, I
Did I
like
call
him.
him
He's our
Sergeant
new
Sawyer?
friend.
mhm.
Yes.
We got to bring him in next week to find out what some of the dumb crooks are doing that they're running into.
Just they're
Oh
fine.
yeah,
Heck
he
yeah.
was he
In
was
this
great
task
to talk
force.
to. Yes.
Anyway, that'd
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with Florida because this legitimately happened. This news came out. It happened on the 12th, which was this past Monday.
Mhm.
Fruitland Park,
Where?
Florida. Fruitland Park. I don't know what county. What county
I
is
don't
that?
even want to go there.
Yeah, it's Fruitland Park. It's 50 miles north of Orlando. Okay, northwest of Orlando. Okay.
Yes, it is.
All right. So a man. Let me back up. So a man and a wife got in an argument, and a family member called about a domestic dispute.
Mhm.
The whole thing started when the wife asked the man, he's 52 years old, to help cook dinner.
Mm,
He didn't want to.
mm.
Really?
So they got into an argument.
Because he didn't want to cook dinner?
He didn't want to help her cook
Not
dinner.
even help her cook dinner.
She
No.
didn't want him to do it. She said, I want you to help me.
He sure didn't mind eating it though.
And
did
yeah.
he?
So
Oh my.
then the argument escalated because she put the spoon in a sink and it accidentally splashed him with water. So he lost his mind.
For goodness sakes.
Yes.
Oh, that is, wow.
Such a crime.
Did he
Yeah.
have to go get treated for injuries or anything?
It gets better. So that scared me. So he started to leave the house, but then he changed his mind.
Yes, sir.
He left and then he returned and demanded that she leave. He's like, no, you're going to go. You are going to go. But then it gets, so he tells her, you got to go. But then he blocks the door so she can't go, picks up a Christmas tree and threw it. He pushed her, then picked up a Christmas tree and threw it at her, and it fell towards the kitchen
Well, you can't blame the cat for
and
this
it
one.
broke in half.
Oh my god.
Yes. So I'm trying to figure out how the tree broke in half. So anyway, the daughter, so then he picked it up again and threw it and hit the wife with it. So the daughter called the police because and stayed on the phone with them because the man had forced her into a corner and yelling and screaming and threatening her, and it scared everybody. So the police came, they arrested him for domestic battery, and he's being held currently on an $8,000 bond. They now don't have a Christmas tree, all because this man did not want to help with dinner and then got mad because water splashed on him. What an idiot.
Well, do we want to take a bet now whether or not there's special jewelry in a box under the old tree for her when,
don't know.
when Christmas rolls around?
Has he bonded out is my next question. It just says he's being held on an $8,000 bond.
I imagine he'll be out. Somebody will let him out.
Are they going to let him back in the house?
Yeah, he's getting
Not-
socks and
not
underwear
with-
for
not with
Christmas.
domestic abuse.
So-
charges against him.
In Charleston, South Carolina. I had to print this off. This came out yesterday. because he got beat down too, and I'm trying to figure out who beat him up. A guy named Brandon Brigman.
I'll fix.
Okay.
Oh no, it's the flag.
Things are falling in here. He was charged with 2 counts of grand larceny, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. Rayford, don't you do it. You'll make me start laughing. So what happened was the Medical University of South Carolina's police force responded to a parking garage Wednesday night after midnight. When they arrived to the garage, there was a man in a festive Christmas suit on a golf cart. Yeah. He exited the golf
What happened
cart.
to his sleigh?
Don't know.
Were the reindeer with him?
No, what happened was he got off that golf cart, ran from the officers, got on another golf cart, and exited down the street. This guy, at this point, they high speed pursued him. They eventually got him to how they put it. The man was grounded.
Yeah, but it ran him down. That's
yes,
what it
because
basically
it
is.
left him.
That's what they call it.
He's cuts all over him from that.
Well, grounded means they stopped him.
So he was grounded. He was taken to the ER for minor injury to his forehead that he suffered when he was grounded. He was grossly intoxicated.
I would have been
reeked of alcohol. So he was charged with his bond was $15,257. He's currently still there
because from the popo.
And it's the stealing of the golf carts from the medical center. He stole not one but 2 of them.
That's two times
in his Christmas suit.
We got a caller. Got a comment.
Okay.
Good morning. Who's this?
Hi, this is Chris. How you doing today?
Good, fine, good. Chris. What's up?
All right. I was trying to call in a little bit earlier, but I'm going to bring the show to a full circle to this. We're talking about the COVID vaccines and the military and how some are getting the boot out for failure to obey lawful order.
Yes.
I know my job has me interacting with service members. One, a personal friend of mine, he's a major in the National Guard, and he was looking at being discharged. It hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it won't happen now. But his defense to that he was bringing up was the Secretary of Defense memorandum was that COVID-19 vaccines will have the full licensure from the FDA, but they service members may voluntarily use the emergency use authorization vaccines. And the one that was approved, Commonarity, I believe that's what it was, has not been made available to the military. Maybe a little bit at the beginning, not enough for everyone, but then pretty much bled off. So like I said, that's his defense, and some others that they were never given the actual fully approved vaccine, and instead were attempted to be bullied with the EUA vaccines.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see what their cases turn out, because I'm sure those are going to be a lot of mitigating circumstances, particularly with rank and file, particularly when you get some rank and they want to kick you out, or they do kick you out.
There will, and it seems like some commands are unfairly trying to push some out quickly, whereas different commands, if they I guess liked you, they wouldn't process it as fast, because I know some Marines that were pushed out very early on, and then some, like this major, they've slow rolled his discharge because his command likes him. So
sure. Okay.
Anyway, I'll leave you. I just want to make that comment.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, y'all have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Let's take our final break here. You're live and local Real Talk, and we'll be right back. Okay, real quick plug here. Onslow County, the sheriff's office has received a $25,000 traffic safety grant, and they're also going to be kicking off their statewide Booze It and Lose It campaign. That's
Good.
going to be starting today, the 12th. No, that's already started, right?
Right.
Law enforcement agencies and emergency medical services from across the state on hand to participate in the event. And that's going to be happening here. We'll tell you more about it as well next week. Also
Right.
coming up as soon as we leave the air here in just a couple minutes, do not forget, it's called Sports Talk with Chris Rayner. And this morning, in just a couple minutes, he's going to be here with his special guest, last week's winning coach of the Duplin football team.
I listened to
Yay,
that game. It was
yay,
really
yay.
good. It
The
was really good.
Panthers kicked some butt last week, and Battle Holly will be the guest to chat about the Panthers 2A state championship win. If you missed that show, by the way, you can see it on the podcast, which will be posted online at WSMA971.com right after the show. Okay, you got anything?
We got time, or we can? Shall I
Well, we
wait?
kind of got to go bye-bye.
Yeah, I'll hold off because it's a good
Theo,
one. Yeah.
you have now met my wife in person almost.
Mhm.
She came decorated for Christmas.
She's festive.
That's right.
She is my chauffeur.
That's
Yeah.
right.
She's
Uber.
We're all
she's my
Christmas.
Uber, my
Look.
Santa.
Good.
Everybody's Christmas except me.
Everybody's
Yeah.
Christmas. See?
And I'm wearing red drawers, Theo, so it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Her Christmas
Red and
shirt
green
on.
ones.
I got my Christmas shirt on.
There you go. So everybody's all decked out except me. And Theo, this is for you, sir. So you are a special person.
I don't think you have any Christmas decor.
Oh, I got a tie. I'll wear it
you
next
do have
week.
a tie.
Yeah.
There you go. My naughty and nice tie. Meanwhile, y'all have a great weekend. Be safe out there. And seriously, drinking and driving will get you not only hurt.
There's a big
Killed.
Booze It, Lose It campaign
It's-
right
it-
now.
It's a
4
major
days
deal
old.
going on. Don't do it. Just find somebody else to drive you around, or stay home. One or the
Yeah.
other. Okay.
All right. Everybody have a good weekend.
Okay.
Yeah,
Have
great
a great
weekend.
weekend. You're live and local Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m., WSME. And what are you doing? We will see you Monday morning. Stay safe.